Hello everyone and welcome to this video. It's me, Don Maarko. I'm back again. Said that the wrong way around, but whatever. In this video today, I am in a suburb of New Taipei City called Xinzhuang. I've come here for an interview and I'm going to give you a little look around. So let's get into it. Let's not just beat around the bush, let's get into it. 7-Eleven there. So the interesting thing about this place where I've come for an interview is this is the area where I got my first ever job when I moved to Taiwan. I will show you the exact location. So that is an ugly looking building there. I'm sorry if anyone lives in that. This building in front of us is kind of like medium level because it's not the oldest. The oldest buildings are like the ones that only have 5 floors. And then I believe these kind of buildings were built after the 5-floor buildings. So Xinzhuang has a lot of this kind of building, but I'll show you all the newer ones over the road in a minute when I go back over there. So I am on the street where it all began for me, my career-wise in Taiwan. This is the street where I got my first ever proper job here. Well, proper job. TEFL job. So I'll show you this street and then we'll walk down. I'll show you where it was. As you can see in front of her, there's another one of those kind of buildings. And this is another kind of residential building. Like I said, Xinzhuang has a lot of these type of buildings. Breakfast shop underneath the building there. That is just a private breakfast shop, I think. And down this road is where it all began. I used to park my scooter here. Used to drive here like a maniac. Hairdressers there, look. Barbers. I'll stand in the middle of the road, I'll take a risk. So there you go, look. This is the street where it all began for us, job-wise. This is where I got my first steady job. I worked here for 2 years. It's kind of ironic to us that maybe my time is nearing an end in Taiwan. At some point in the future I'll be able to tell you what happened, but now I'm not ready. So anyway, this is the first street where everything began for us, and now I'm probably ending back where it all started. So there is a lot of stuff here that I obviously haven't seen before because I haven't really been here for like 15 years or something. But it's interesting to show you where I started life here, really. Because before this job, I did a few other jobs that never give us a proper work permit and things. And that was my introduction into life here. Figuring out how to assess which job is legit and which job isn't legit. It happened straight away like a brick in the face. The first job I took didn't offer us a work permit, so it was like a big brick in the face saying this is what you've got to watch out for. Right, we're getting closer. This area here in front of us, underneath this building, this is where it all began. I don't know what it is now, but that building there with like the van in the front, this is where I had my first job in Taiwan. Like, don't know what it is now, something else. This used to be a Joy English. I used to work here underneath this building, look. Looks like some design shop or something now. Another breakfast shop there. This breakfast shop used to be more popular than it is now. You don't see it many places anymore. So yeah, that little garden there, that was my first proper job, first like legit job. Because the other ones weren't legit, unbeknown to myself. So this is where it all began. And actually there is a big baseball stadium in Xinzhuang, but this part of Xinzhuang that I'm in is not close to the baseball stadium, so I'm not going to show you that. Maybe in the future I can go to a game there before I start a new job. This area is bringing back memories, to be honest with you, like. Definitely bringing back memories. Even though a lot of the shops are different, the whole area is still exactly the same, you know what I mean? So I'm in a bit of a reminiscent mode here, like. There's loads of scooters in Xinzhuang, look. Another one of those ugly looking buildings. You see what I mean? Xinzhuang is full of these ugly looking buildings. I think those kind of buildings, like the ones behind us there in Taiwan, I think they have the least character of any kind of apartments in Taiwan going. They're kind of mid-range, you know. I think the apartments that I'm staying in, which is like a 5-floor one, the really old ones, they've got a lot of character, but they look dingy. And then the new ones are devoid of character. The brand new ones, I think they're devoid of character, but they look absolutely lush. They're like, what they're like, some of them are like hotels. It's like living in a hotel, but it's your house, you know what I mean? So this place, what I'm coming up to now, here, I'm sure it's like a sewer, but they made it quite nice. I might be wrong, it might just be like a drainage system, but I'm sure it's a sewer. Or a gut. We used to have a gut in Dunstan. It's definitely a sewer. Look at it. I'm sure. Anyway, if someone can correct us, let us know. But whatever it is, they've made it look really nice. When I first started working here, this whole nice walkway here wasn't a thing. And then I think during my second year here, they made it look like this. And then it looks really nice, I think. And over there in the distance, they've started building loads of new builds. When I first started working in Xinzhuang, that area with the new builds was just grass. It was just open grass. There was nothing there. So this is Xinzhuang. Xinzhuang is quite a big district. It's difficult for us to show you all of it. This is not central Xinzhuang either. Central Xinzhuang is down that way. I just pointed for you. Central Xinzhuang is down there. But I'm not going to walk down there, I don't have the time. But you can see the buildings, look. See what I'm talking about? Just ugly looking things, man. I bet you they're nice inside though. I bet you they've got loads of space. I've been in some apartments like these ones that do have loads of space inside. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm just going to head back towards the MRT, which I came here on. It is the circular line. And I'm going to head down to a district called Neihu in Taipei City because I need to go to Neihu. I want to check another eye doctor because each eye doctor I went to see said my eyes are just allergy problems, but it's been going on for ages, man. So I'm going to check the eye doctor in Neihu because when I worked in Neihu, he sort of gave us the eye drops I needed and the problem got better. So that's why I'm going back there. But now I'm walking back down the little lane where I used to work. I'll give you a look. I'm just going to keep the camera running. I haven't done this before very often, but I am just going to keep the camera running so you can see what things look like here and get a little feel for the place, you know. Try and give you a feel for the place. So there's not a lot going on because it is mid-afternoon on a Tuesday. And during mid-afternoon on a Tuesday, most people are at school or work. But I have the luxury of taking my time and sorting my life out, you know. There's a building complex here that is absolutely massive, man. I'll show you, look. This is like one big community, look. How many people do you reckon live in there? You can't even really get an idea of it on the camera. So there's at least 5 or 6 buildings just in front of us there. And then there's the same on the other side. I reckon there's loads of people living in there, like. The complex I just showed you, this is like a community, but it's like a gated community. And I suppose they built these ones before the new builds, because the new builds have got a guard and you kind of get in the building and all that. This is like a gated community, look. There's the gate there. You can only get inside if you live there. And some of them have got little parks and swimming pools inside and that, but I looked at it, when I moved here, I looked at an apartment with a swimming pool They said you can only use the swimming pool for 2 months of the year because the other times it's cold. I said, what's the point in that, man? If I want a swimming pool in my apartment, I want to use it all year round, you morons. Right, so we're going back down the same street. Have a look. So that is some kind of learning centre. That is just a little knick-knack shop. All different things. Alright, so we're back down the same street really. There's the hairdressers again. What I need to tell you about this area, Xinzhuang District. Xinzhuang is a big, massive residential area. Most places here are residential, so a lot of people, they'll work here, but they'll like get the MRT or the bus to work in Taipei City and that. So this area is very residential. I'm not sure if I've shown you any videos of heavily residential areas yet so far, just being of areas of interest. So this is heavily residential here. If I have time, I'll show you Xinzhuang District, but I don't think I have time. Xinzhuang District is a bit different. It's like semi-residential and semi-business. This area here in Xinzhuang, 100% residential here. Like when I get down to the end of this road, I will show you. Well, I'll just show you from this side of the road where the big new all the big new buildings are, because I don't really want to walk around there. It's just residential and it's all new builds. And when I first moved here, all these new builds weren't a thing. It was just grass over there. So I'll show you how it looks, because when I come here from the interview, I was looking at it thinking, I am 100% sure that is where I started life here. And then I was thinking, is it really? Because I don't recognize it. And then the reason I didn't recognize it is because there's not just one new building there anymore. There's like probably 100 or less, 50 to 100 easily. But there's loads, man. It's like a new area completely. I'll show you it. I'm there now. Across the road here, all these new builds, these weren't here when I first started working in Xinzhuang. Look at them all. There's definitely easily 100 buildings here. And when I first come here, it was just grass over the road. And if you can see over there, there has been a scooter crash. There was a BMW here all done in. They stood by the road arguing, so I'm not going to focus on that too much. So these new builds anyway, look, you can see them all. We go down and they go back as well. Like, you can't see behind that building, but behind that building there's more and more. But as we get further down this road, you'll see more and more. Like, in my opinion, it's pretty interesting seeing it 15 years later. I've been in Taiwan for 15 years, and to see how this side over there of Xinzhuang has developed 15 years on is very interesting. All the buildings, they've got like personality, you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. I'm very sorry. I don't know how to describe it, how I mean, but it's like there's no feeling in it, you know what I mean? When something's old, I've lost my words. When something's old, it has like a feeling about it, like character. That's what I'm thinking of. It has character. That's exactly the word I'm looking for. These buildings, they have no character whatsoever, but they'll probably be nice inside. But the thing with the new builds compared to the old builds is space. You get new build, the space is tiny, and in Taiwan they have some rule where you have to pay towards the public space. So not only are you paying your rent, you have to pay public space and shared utility costs. When I come to Taiwan, first year I fell into that trap. I got a nice build and then I was paying through the nose for everything. I'll show you some more. There you see, new build central here. And you see this little white building in front? That means this space here, they're going to build another building. And I think in Taiwan, they don't have any right to light, you see. You know, the right to light where everyone's entitled to a bit of sunlight coming in the house. You see this building in the front? They will literally just build a building right in front of your window. I get around here, you'll have a better look what I'm talking about. You can see it from this side what I'm talking about. So if you look, I'm trying not to kill myself on this road like, but if you look up there, you see the building in the front what I'm talking about there, and then the ones behind that do that all the time. Look, you see how close the buildings are. So this area eventually is just going to be like that everywhere. All down here is just going to be new builds, and it's going to be shit, man. Like, see if you got that building there when it was first built. I think when I first lived here, that was one of the first buildings that went up here, and it's small, and now they've just plunked that one right in front of it. It'd be a disaster, man, just looking at a brick wall, especially if you paid the prices that you got to pay for apartments here. It's ridiculous. So this is all new compared to what I'm used to. None of this was here before. It's definitely interesting seeing it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, it used to be grass. There was grass over there with probably 10 or less new buildings when I lived here. 10 or less. Now it is fancy as shit. When I lived here, I was thinking of looking at places over there. Probably should have done. But actually they still didn't build the MRT that close. Like, I think even though my place where I live has no MRT, I'm 2 seconds from the train, and the train takes 15 minutes to Taipei Station. I think it's belter. The only problem with my location is the cost of getting a taxi home at night. So when I went out for the League Cup final, because Newcastle won, I was still out drinking at like 6 in the morning, and the train started at 6:30, so I got the train back. But you know, if Newcastle didn't win and I had to get a taxi home, it would cost like 25 or 30 quid. I would have went home sulking. Give you another look at the new builds. Okay, look at it, man. No character really. So I just thought I'd show you a little bit of Xinzhuang, like, may as well. But as you can see, like I said, this area is like highly residential. It's like a suburb. I would actually class this as a suburb of Taipei City. I know Xinzhuang is in New Taipei City, right? I know that, I get it. Technically they're not the same area and all that. But the thing is, I would still class all this as a greater conurbation of Taipei City, because most people here, when they want to do anything for entertainment, where do they go? Taipei City mostly. When they want to do anything for work, where do they look for work? Taipei City. So all this areas, it's basically built up because Taipei City is the place to be, I suppose. Think I'm just going to end this video here. Might just be a short one, might be a long one, who knows. But so I'm going to end this video here, and I will see you in the next one. See you later.